A very long political season is upon us. 10 big state elections this year and then the big one over a year from now. The Prime Minister has already declared the big countdown. He started from 400 days to go for the big 2024 election. And we here on India Today have already begun that countdown as India's #1 political reporting team. On the Democratic Newsroom, we're asking 3 big questions as we plunge headfirst into what is going to be one of the hardest fought election seasons, and all of us are going to be out there in the field. But before that, is it going to be Modi versus all? We've been seeing opposition leaders confabulate, unite in various permutations and combinations, leading to that big question. And who else to start with but with Rajdeep, who's been out there on the political battlefield more than any of us. Sir, Modi versus all? I know it's still 400 days to go, or less than 400 days to go, but is that a pertinent question right now still?
I think, Shiv, one thing is very clear. Mr. Modi will be a central figure of the elections. That's the nature now of general elections in particular. They almost become a referenda on leadership. And therefore, the manner in which Mr. Modi has made himself a larger-than-life figure in Indian politics in the last decade almost inevitably leads you to the conclusion that whatever else happens, Mr. Modi will be the central figure of the campaign, whether it's from an opposition perspective or indeed from the BJP's perspective. The BJP will put almost all its eggs in the Modi basket in a way, and the opposition will try somehow or the other to puncture this larger-than-life Modi balloon. So I see him as a central figure in a general election of 2024.
Rahul, puncturing the Modi balloon if it's Modi versus all, is that a feasible thing in this year and the next?
See, Rajdeep, Shiv, I think this idea and this goalpost that after Modi who, and is it Modi, puncture balloon, I think we need to change this. Why does it happen? Why does a leader go out of power? Wonderful narrative against him. He is going to be part of a fantastic G20 narrative. He is going to inaugurate the Ram temple. He is going to inaugurate the new parliament building. Every state in this country ruled by BJP or LI gives an advertisement of Modi in a larger size than the chief minister. He is the narrative.
Yeah.
So you can't oust him on narrative. Where is the narrative from the opposition? Then you create charismatic leaders or Gathbandhans. I talked about, let's talk Gathbandhan. Yesterday there was this rally in which AAP, Samajwadi Party, BRS and others were together. BRS is missing the JDU, which was still few days BRS ally of Mr. KCR was missing. Congress is missing. For Congress invites, AAP and BRS are missing. The opposition unity is nowhere there. None of these leaders, see, compared to earlier times when we used to have leaders and Gathbandhans, there used to be some coming together. Right now you have very fractured kind of an opposition in which the principal opposition party is also like a regional party. It's got barely any landscape to control. In that scenario, there is no unity in the opposition. Every time India has voted, let's take the last time around, when there was a not so exciting L.K. Advani versus a Manmohan Singh, it was Manmohan Singh people picked, not L.K. Advani. So till Modi makes a huge mistake, Modi can be ousted by Modi, one, or who after Modi, Modi will decide who after Modi.
But I mean, obviously the Prime Minister and the BJP want this to be a presidential style battle. They want this to be personality based. And most people, one speaks to say, well, Modi is the issue. Why not fight in his name?
So, and when as a voter, people say, okay, if not Modi, then who? So there is Rahul Gandhi on a Bharat Jodo Yatra, but his own party MPs and leaders are getting away from him. The latest being, Manpreet Badal in Punjab. And that's happened virtually every state he's gone, he's lost leaders there. So is it Rahul Gandhi? Does Rahul Gandhi have the support of Trinamool Congress or the Aam Aadmi Party or others with him? What's that big coalition against Narendra Modi? BJP is like an election machine. What's the other election machine?
But there is a challenge for Narendra Modi. That challenge is the south of India. Because the BJP or Narendra Modi is not as big as he'd like. Yes, he's larger than life here in the north. In the south, he's still got, a lot of bastions that he has to, in fact, take over. Look at Tamil Nadu, for example, where there's such a big anti-Modi wave. right? So those are issues that he will have to focus on in 2024 also.
But isn't Rajdeep, isn't everyone going for that numbers game? Ensure he doesn't get 303, bring them down to 220, 230, and then it will be anybody else and not Modi. Isn't that the opposition's main game? Bring them down in UP, bring them down in Bihar, bring them down in Maharashtra, bring them down in Bengal.
My bigger worry is starting with what Shiv's first question was. It almost seems as if we are a presidential system, which we are not actually. You know, we were supposed to be a parliamentary system, 543 constituencies. The problem is, we've created over time a system where many of us perhaps don't even know who our MP is. Forget about MLAs and municipal councillors. I mean, last time I think BJP had over 100 first-time MLAs, many of whom perhaps were MPs, many of whom were voted in only because of Mr. Modi. And, you know, is that good, healthy for democracy? Is that the way democracy should function? You know, is a huge question mark. Should you be voting for your candidate? I think the opposition's hope is that eventually we'll have 543 elections. That doesn't unfortunately happen anymore. And the media is a huge reason for it. We in the media like to see, make it personalities, heavyweight contest. You'll show a caricature of Modi larger than life, you'll show a smaller caricature, or you'll show the opposition as ragtag. I mean, the media is playing a huge role in manipulating the public mind.
I'm sorry, but isn't media showing the truth? Isn't media showing the truth? Isn't that the truth?
What is the truth?
Isn't that the truth today?
We are a country with 29 states, several union territories. Are we saying that only that when you come to a general election, you just vote for one person?
No, are you voting for one person? No, I'm talking about that size, that there is one BJP which has 303, and then there is a Congress which is 52.
Sure. No, all that I accept. I'm only asking, have Indian elections become presidential, and with 2024?
But even 2019 and 2014 was presidential.
Rajdeep, everybody wants to keep it presidential. The point is that, do you think somebody is going to wants to get out of it? When an Aam Aadmi party holds rallies, say wins an election in Punjab, you have a situation in which officers come from Punjab to Delhi to decide the budget.
Yeah,
I'm presidential now.
No, I'm just wondering whether it's healthy for a democracy. That's all. This personality cult is not good for a democracy. That's my point.
I believe that's the political truth of it all. There is Modi, whereas, you know, the question, will it be Modi versus all? I think right now the question is, will it be Modi versus a strange third front versus the Congress versus the TMC? You know, I think that's what it is coming down to. And when it comes down to a narrative, either of them individually or together don't have a cohesive narrative. Where is the narrative?
Modi has to make a mistake.
Exactly. You're banking on Modi, who is the narrative, to make a mistake.
Has he come close to making a mistake?
I mean, what was demonetization? What was demonetization, for God's sake? Was demonetization not a mistake?
But if anything could have defeated Modi, it was
demonetization not a mistake, and yet...
But if demonetization didn't defeat him...
No, the BJP won a big election immediately after
that's exactly. If anything could have defeated him, it was demonetization.
Politics is a mistake when you encash it. When you prove it is a mistake. Politically, the BJP has had corruption cases, Vyapan and everything in Madhya Pradesh. Has the Congress and others been able to do what the BJP did on Commonwealth, 2G and others? No, they cannot. The problem lies here. There is something unwilling in getting down to the politics of the times, I think. They have not realized
by the opposition.
Game plan has changed. The political ground has changed. Political parties are failing to realize that this ground has changed. Modi is setting the terms and everybody is trying to play catch up. See, I don't agree with this presidential form. It's terrible for the country. I will not say there is a question mark. I will not beat
But even all the opposition parties like that.
It's terrible for the country. This cult picture is bad. But
all the parties have it. The problem is most of these opposition parties also are...
KCR, Mamta, Stalin, Pinarayi. They're all cult figures in their parties.
No, it's very worrying, I think, for a democracy to either have personality cults on one side or dynastically run, family-run parties on the other. And therefore the voter is saying, if these are the options that I have, then I might as well stick with Mr. Modi, who at least I know the, how...
I feel what it will come down to is there is going to be a Modi, and if there is a success for the opposition, is if they come together, is if they can localize the general elections. Is it possible to generalize a local election?
You know, state-wise, bring the BJP down, for example, in Bengal, in Bihar, in Maharashtra.
You know, I heard this in January of 2019.
Correct.
And then by February, Pulwama happened, Balakot happened, and the entire election became about leadership.
There is going to be a Ram temple. They are planning to bring something close to 20 lakh people to Ayodhya, Rajdeep.
For that day, yeah.
Yeah, but Ram temple
is going to be every
should elections be, again, should elections be decided on whether a Ram temple has been built? Is that what?
But that's ideal thinking.
And we in the media will provide it 24/7 coverage.
Okay, I want to
we in the media will provide it. We are the platform, the theatre.
Rajdeep,
You know,
I want to ask
I
cover
want
everything,
to understand from you, what's wrong with the Ram temple?
Nothing wrong with the Ram
What's
temple.
wrong with the Ram temple?
I never said that. Don't put words in my mouth. I said, should elections be won and lost on whether a Ram temple has been built? I'm only asking a question.
No.
But
I don't know. I don't know about other
You
platforms.
know,
I am sorry. So you were saying, so there is a Ram temple, yes. You're saying there was a Balakot. Wasn't Balakot huge? Wasn't it huge? I mean, here is a time, there is one country that's hitting you day in and day out, and you say Aman ki Asha and Aman ki Asha, and then there is a country that hits you, you go bomb it without war being declared.
Okay.
Isn't
now,
that huge?
Let's see, this whole thing about trying to localize elections and move them away from the personality cult and presidential style election, I think we can all agree that it's not ideal in a democratic system. But this is not the first time, Rajdeep, that the opposition has tried to come together, tried to localize elections, move it away from personality, wait for Modi to make a mistake. It happened in 2014, to a smaller extent, much bigger in 2019, as you rightly said. Can the Mahagathbandhan, is there any indication that the Mahagathbandhan can become a reality?
no, where is this? You know, there is no Mahagathbandhan at the moment. Let's be clear. There is no one leader, there is no narrative, there is no strategy which is meaningful and cohesive.
Yeah.
You know, when Jayaprakash Narayan, because this example is often given, Indira Gandhi is likened to Modi, and then the opposition is likened to what happened in 1977. You know, at that time there was a leader, there was a narrative, there was a reason why they had all come together.
Opposition party.
And they had all come together.
Everybody was a small
Yeah,
fractured.
and there was a clear reason why they had come together, to bring down Indira Gandhi because of the emergency. 2004 is often cited also, by Congress in particular. All of you predicted that Mr. Vajpayee will win again.
India
he
shining.
lost. But I think Mr. Vajpayee's era and the Modi-Shah era are very different. Particularly, and I say this again, the role of the media. The media will magnify the Modi juggernaut, plus the BJP, I think, is a far more organized, entrenched party today, and the Congress in particular is much weaker today than it was 18, 20 years ago.
But
So I think
point is, why do we blame the media? Isn't our job to reflect what is happening? When there is a Bharat Jodo Yatra, we cover the Bharat Jodo Yatra. We have
I
the
think the
biggest team of
media's
reporters.
role, okay, Gaurav, I feel the media's role for an entirely different debate
Yeah.
when it comes down to it. But I want to just once again ask a question regarding going up to 2024, and maybe Rahul and Rajdeep can also weigh in on this, and Gaurav, where you talk about arithmetic and the chemistry. Technically, if we look at it where we are standing, the chemistry lies with Modi, presidential style election. But if you look at the arithmetic, which we've used it the other way, when you look at it, Bihar was swept by the BJP. Will it happen again? Bengal, will Mamata allow the same number of seats to go to the BJP? Madhya Pradesh, the BJP this time doesn't look as favorable as it did earlier. So, if you just purely look at the arithmetic, or, we've done the arithmetic before and sometimes it just doesn't work.
The fact is, as you saw in 2019, there's a difference between state elections and general elections. Where Mr. Modi is not on the ticket, the BJP can be vulnerable. And they lost Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan in 2018. Come the general election, they swept all those states.
True, but will it
so
still,
it could still happen. I mean, the opposition...
But at that time, the demography, or in terms of the local politics, was very different in those states.
Yeah, sure.
See,
But
Rajdeep, I think the problem here is we are trying to talk about a future which Modi doesn't tell you, which opposition does not know. Modi will throw a card, everybody will play catch up. Now look at, when we talk about chemistry and arithmetic, Preeti, politics has changed.
True.
Modi is playing the game of arithmetic, playing the game of physics, chemistry, biology, and everything. He is doing chemistry. He is doing telling go to Boras and Pasmandas and others. On the other hand, he is consolidating OBCs. He is consolidating SCs.
Tribal.
Like also what he did in
Tribal.
Karnataka today.
Today.
Yeah.
So there is arithmetics happening, chemistry happening. That's what you need to do. The point is, that day when he was walking, 500 meters road show. Who does it? But he did it.
But
there might be 10 people who will catch on.
No, I take your point, but all I'm saying is I think the Indian voter now sees state elections very differently to general elections. Delhi was a good example. The BJP got what, almost 58-60% of the vote in a general election. 6 months later, you have a state election. Kejriwal sweeps the election, and you're having this again and again. So I think what you have is, I think national elections have certainly, in my view, become quasi-presidential. State elections, still you have...
States are also quasi-presidential.
Well,
now,
but there are local factors
Telangana,
also.
you tell me one state where it is not happening, barring Chhattisgarh or Jharkhand.
Well, there are...
No, I'm sorry.
You can localize
in Gujarat,
the state elections.
barring Himachal, in Delhi it is presidential completely. It's
No,
all
it
Kejriwal.
was very interesting.
When
what
it is Kejriwal, you don't say it is presidential.
No, one minute. My
When
point,
it is TRS, you don't say it's presidential.
Of course it is to
Say
an
presidential
extent.
Delhi also.
It is to an extent, but take Himachal
These
Pradesh.
are old ideas.
Take-
Rajdeep, these are old
Take
interpretations.
Himachal Pradesh, for example, right? The BJP swept Himachal Pradesh in 2019 with the highest vote percentage it has got in any North Indian state, 68 or 69%. 2022, we've had this election in Himachal Pradesh. What happened? BJP has come down by about 26% to about 42, 43%. Mr. Modi was not made by the opposition, the Congress in particular, a central figure. You see, what's happened at the moment, the opposition is playing defensive politics.
Yes.
And the BJP is playing aggressive,
Aggressive.
Will the
attacking
game
politics.
change
They play
if-
on the
will
front
the game
foot,
change?
and they keep changing. One day they'll play a cover
If
drive,
Congress,
next day an
let's say
on drive.
Congress does well in Karnataka, then it does successively well in the upcoming elections, will the game change?
No, I don't
It
think
will be.
But
will
they
be
did
question
well in
marks.
2018 also.
It is necessary. You have to defeat him.
It will
It
give them some
happened 2018
momentum,
also.
but
Right.
it will not change the game, I think, unless the
That
opposition
iconic
finds a
picture,
clear narrative.
Yeah, that iconic picture of entire opposition together in Bangalore, in Karnataka, before 2019 elections, and everyone said BJP needs to beware. BJP is on the defensive.
The problem is that the opposition has too many terms and conditions. You look at the BRS rally, for example. KCR unites everyone who's not with the Congress. So then you have a handful
Not even those are
of
there.
them.
Few months back, he had gone to Nitish Kumar, starting a third front.
Yeah.
वहाँ दुकान खोली उसके साथ इधर आके वो दुकानदार missing था.
And
You
Nitish Kumar
can't do
looked
that.
very miffed about it this
The
morning.
point here is that I think there is too much of disagreement on Modi.
Everyone's got
but
terms and
there is not
conditions.
agreement on how to agree on being against Modi.
The
वो
rallying
agreement
point
create
is
करना
Modi,
पड़ेगा.
but that's it.
Rajdeep, to defeat an Indira Gandhi, Jayaprakash Narayan लाठी खाए जेल गए.
Yeah, you
Today
need a
there is
magnet.
poverty, unemployment, there is inflation. Who is facing
But
Lathi
Rahul,
Danda?
Jayaprakash Narayan movement happened at a time where the popularity of Indira Gandhi was at the lowest.
No.
Narendra
no.
Modi, it's completely
Indira Gandhi within 2
opposite.
months came back to power. 2
But
years
it
came back
was-
to power.
No,
And
but
don't
it was
forget,
still low.
and
She was
don't,
unpopular at that period.
and please
But-
don't forget this, Indira Gandhi, when she lost also in the emergency, was swept out in North India. In South
In
India,
South
she
India.
still retained her power.
Exactly.
The point is the opposition needs a magnet. You see, at the moment, the opposition has no magnet around which they can crystallize and which the voter will be convinced by. There's a credibility question. You see, whether it's because of the media or whether it's because of his own messaging, he's a terrific communicator. Mr. Modi has convinced a large number of Indians that he is the right man at the right time, at the right place. The opposition, therefore, as I said at the outset, is going to have to systematically puncture the Modi balloon. Not just Mr. Modi making mistakes, but the opposition convincing people that these are blunders that will affect your
every
future.
time Rajdeep,
Last
a big
mile.
leader has been removed, it has been largely because the opposition has been able to discredit the leader.
Yeah, you've got to
You have to discredit him, do it and you'll win.
But
the problem
you know,
is they don't create a
but the
narrative.
opposition has usually gone with, look at Arvind Kejriwal. He took on Narendra Modi, very quickly learned कि ऐसा ये तो नहीं होने वाला. He stopped taking on Narendra Modi. He entered Gujarat and he realized अब तो करना पड़ेगा फिर. Again he took on Narendra Modi. He came back now not taking on Narendra Modi again. So that's
No,
you
and
know
the
what
But
I
I think
think
Kejriwal, what's
So
interesting
do you
with
take
Kejriwal
on
is
Modi
that
or you don't take on?
No, but he's learned from
joining
Modi.
Rahul Gandhi in Srinagar by all opposition would have been great symbolism, boss. It's Kashmir. Balakot, lot of those elements come together in Kashmir.
But again,
there
it's
is no
terms
But
and
are you
conditions. Again, it's
willing
terms
to
and
accept,
conditions.
you see, if they go to Kashmir, would they be therefore willing to accept, if not de jure, de facto, Rahul Gandhi as the face of the opposition?
Rajdeep, if you keep
Mamata
wondering,
Banerjee
yes,
will not be
obviously
willing
not.
to,
If
Mamata
you don't,
Banerjee is not willing to accept
then
that.
you forget the
KCR is not
opposition
willing to.
unity.
Then, you see, so at the moment, what the opposition leaders have decided, ये मुझे मेरा home turf protect
बस,
करना है.
मैं अपना
मेरे
दुकान
ख्याल
बचा
है
के रखूंगा.
So
KCR wants to protect
it's not
Telangana.
disagreement on issues,
Nobody
but
wants to
competing
go.
egos.
Exactly, but that
not just
in
egos, my
itself would be a
hometown.
threat. That in itself, if
No,
Mamata
but
Banerjee is able to protect Bengal, which means BJP's numbers go down. If every state, especially Bengal and Bihar, they're able to protect their turf, then it's disadvantage.
But it's
So
beyond
there are
protecting.
5 states, that is Bengal, Bihar, Maharashtra, Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh. These 5 states offer opposition the opportunity possibly to bring down the BJP by double digits in each of these states. That 10 or more seats lost. That would be 50 seats less.
And that would
That's
be,
you know, the
250.
You see, the opposition problem is they sit on a table and do this. You've got to go in the field. You've got to go right down to the booth level and be able to translate.
Rahul Gandhi
No, but
is just
Rahul Gandhi is
walked
there. He's doing
all
a
the way
Bharat
from
Jodo Yatra.
Kanyakumari. He's just reaching Kashmir.
Yeah, but
He's on the ground.
But the
Congress
needs a CEO who's going to fix the organization. A yatra doesn't fix your organization.
No, they're
You're going
trying
to
it.
need to fix the organization.
Trying to
Aren't they
galvanize
trying to do
the
it? They're
rank and
changing
file.
the leadership with the Bharat Jodo Yatra. They're trying for
No, they're
sure.
trying.
They're making
Sure,
so many changes.
Sure, they're trying, but
But does it translate to nothing?
if we don't know that at the moment. I think it's too early to say whether it's translating to nothing. But I think, importantly, Akshita, the fact is that the Congress is the principal opposition party. Unless the Congress revives, the opposition itself will struggle to sort of, you can't expect Mamata to overnight
So you
become
think
a
a
pan-Indian.
Congress-led front is the only answer?
all
A
the
Congress-led
regional
front
parties.
is the only answer?
Or they
There
have
can
to be
be no
part of
other,
any
there can't
front.
be a Mamata-led
एक
front, a
मौका आया था,
KCR-led
एक
front.
मौका आया था जब ऑपोजिशन को कोई इलेक्टोरल स्टेक्स नहीं थे. They could have come together, was president election. They had the numbers, they could have beaten. But even when it is non-electoral exercises for unity,
They still can't come together. We're almost out of time, but a very tantalizing thing that Rahul said on my show the other day.
I've been saying it for some time now.
The BJP is actually counting on the success of the Bharat Jodo Yatra. If the Bharat Jodo Yatra is a success, Rahul Srivastav says the BJP will
Rahul
be very
Gandhi is the
happy
narrative.
because
Congress
it
is the
will
narrative.
affirm,
BJP loves the Congress
it will
versus
affirm
BJP battle.
disunity
Modi
of the
versus Rahul
opposition.
battle. They love
It
it.
will underscore
They want it.
presidential style cult politics of personality.
I think
explain that, Rahul.
I think what it's done is, the obvious answer to that, Shiv, is that as long as the narrative is Namdar versus Kamdar, the BJP believes that they are on a good wicket. You see, that they play this card constantly of contrasting Mr. Modi with, say, any of the dynastical figures like Rahul Gandhi on the other side. However, there is one question which we've not mentioned in this room, which is the possibility, as some economists suggest, that the second half of the year could see a recession. And the possibility, you see, then, I can't be trumpeting myself as this, with the G20, if at the bottom of the pyramid, people are suffering. I don't know whether that will happen or not, but that's the one X factor. That's the one X factor.
You may be reporting what the economists are anticipating. But the opposition is hoping. On hope, nothing runs.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. That's one
When you
X
wait
factor.
and hope the economy should collapse and Modi
Uttar
will
Pradesh,
fall.
Rajdeep, employment was at its lowest. Was it a factor?
Because Mr. Modi
No.
we do not give enough credit to the large-scale welfare schemes that have ensured that
But then
you
that
have
also
these
it comes down to your own
It
question.
comes down to that.
But then you've answered your own question.
And 800 million people are being fed.
Please
No,
read
because
more
they
and
wanted to
have
question was not a
hopelessness with the
factor.
Your own
opposition.
question there.
It's like
but the
yesterday's rally
opposition should say
has
these are
really
welfare schemes that we brought in
as a
that
political
Mr. Modi has
You think
taken
it's a
forward.
signal of things to come?
Yeah, see, there are so many things went wrong. Why shouldn't a Nitish be there? Why shouldn't a Chandrababu Naidu be there? Why
All those
should the
close to the
Congress be
Congress,
there? It was an opportunity. Srinagar was an opportunity. There are opportunities. There is unemployment. There is
I'm going to end with
Go
the
to the
Rajdeep
streets,
quote.
boss.
All
I'm going to end
regional
with the
parties have
Rajdeep quote.
actually grown at the expense of the Congress. Will Congress continue to do that remains the question.
It was actually something that the Israeli government used to say about the Palestinian Liberation Organization. Rajdeep has repurposed this phrase for the Indian opposition. He says the Indian opposition never misses an opportunity to miss an opportunity. We'll have to see whether that remains true for the next 350 odd days till 2024. First of many democratic newsrooms in this big political season. Thanks so much for watching.